my gosh, I'm so excited. It's finally time. It is time for our very first ever virtual vacation Bible school. Welcome to Compassion Camp. Let's take a look at what's going to happen. I'm going to put my marshmallows down, and I am going to grab this bag. Hopefully you got a bag like this on your front step or hanging on your doorknob or something like that. Let's take a peek at what's inside. The first thing you'll find is a letter from me. And this letter is just going to tell you all of the things that you can expect to have happen while you're enjoying your Compassion Camp videos. Then there is a packet of things that are stapled together. They're coloring sheets, and there are 6 of them. And if you color all of the coloring sheets, what you'll find is they fit together like a puzzle, and they make a big mural that you can put on your wall or on your refrigerator. And every single day at the end of our Compassion Camp sessions, we're going to take a look at this mural, and we're going to see if we can figure out how people are showing compassion to one another. We also included a really beautiful book for every single family. It's called Maybe I Can Love My Neighbor Too. And a lot of our Compassion Camp has to do with loving our neighbors near and far. So I hope that you enjoy this book as a family. The next thing you'll find is 5 different bags that look just like this. Now, I am going to recommend that you keep everything in each bag until you sit down to do your Compassion Camp videos. And the reason is that there are activities that we will guide you through. And if you take everything out of all of your bags, it will be very, very difficult for you to figure out what activity you're supposed to be doing during your video. Speaking of activities, I think we should get started right now on session 1. Here we go.
Dare, I dare to care. Hey, I dare.
All right, are you ready for session 1? Go ahead and grab your session 1 bag, and let's take a look and see what's inside, okay? So first, you got your session 1 card. And this card is going to tell us kind of what our lesson is about today. Then here's the really cool thing. On the back side of the card, it has ways that you can keep track of all of the different things that you've done within each session. And there are stampers in your bag, so you can put a stamp next to each one of the activities that you have completed. The next thing that I'm finding in my bag is this handy card. And it says Daily Examine on one side, and on the other side it says Ask and Imagine. There's a special section that will come up later with Miss Jan and some puppet friends. And she's going to help you ask and imagine some of these questions to see how you feel about the story for the day. It's also a great idea to take this and to sit down with one of the grown-ups in your household and to ask and imagine with them and see what kind of ideas they have about the story. Today, you're also going to have the chance to make your own matching game. We're going to talk a lot about empathy and emotions in just a minute, and this is a game that you can color or you can just cut it out just the way it is. And it's 2 pages that are exactly the same, and then you turn them over and you see if you can match the faces. There's another coloring sheet in here, and it wouldn't be Vacation Bible School without snack. So I'm sure you've already found the snacks, and you can enjoy those whenever you want. As we talk about compassion, I think it's important that we start to figure out what exactly is compassion anyway. And one of the things that you'll see on all of our session cards is it helps remind us every day that compassion means I see your hurt, I feel your hurt with you, and I help to ease your hurt. We're going to be reminded of that every single session. But you know what? You can't have compassion without empathy. This is a word that maybe you haven't thought about very much. To give us an example, I have some Legos here. Have you ever had a time where your Legos are all over the floor? And maybe you don't have any shoes on, and you're walking along and you step on a Lego? How does that feel? It hurts, doesn't it? And I've had that experience too. So if that were to happen to you, I would have empathy for you, because you and I have shared an experience that is pretty close to the same. And so I know how you would be feeling at that time. Then that empathy becomes compassion. So I know how you're feeling, I see how you're feeling, and then I can go, oh, I feel bad for you about that. I can feel bad in my heart about that. But then, if I wanted to take it one step further, I could say, you know what would be a great way that you wouldn't have to have that happen to you again? Let's clean up our Legos together. And then they won't be on the floor, and then you won't have that hurt happening anymore in your life. So that's how empathy and compassion work together. Let's take a look at some other ways that we can learn about empathy and compassion.
I dare, I dare, I dare, I dare to care. Hey, I dare, I dare, I dare.
Have you ever been camping with either friends or your family? When you're sitting around the campfire, do you ever tell stories? Sometimes we tell ghost stories, but since we're at Vacation Bible Camp, we're going to tell Bible stories. I have a great one that I want to share with you. Jesus told a parable. Once there was a man who had 2 sons. The younger son greedily demanded his inheritance, turned his back on his family, and left them for a far-away country. He wasted all of the money that he took from his family. Soon he became needy and hungry. Even though he felt ashamed, he decided to return home, hoping his father might welcome him back. When his father saw him, he was filled with compassion. He ran out to his son and threw his arms around him. He was so happy that he was even alive. The father got a big dinner together, and all of the best food and drink were available, and that was his way of giving thanks for his son's return. Meanwhile, the older brother came in from the fields. He was tired from working all day. When he heard the music and dancing, he became very angry, and he refused to go in. His father went to the older brother to persuade him to come in. But he said, I've listened to you and worked hard for you all these years, and you've never given me a party. My brother comes home after wasting all his money, and you throw him a huge party? His father said to him, Son, I love you. What is mine is yours, but people matter more than possessions. We thought we lost your brother from our family, but now he's home. Come to the table and celebrate with us. Now, I have a great surprise for you guys. Reading the story around our campfire is one way to enjoy a story, but I have a second fun way to enjoy the story. Take a look.
3, 2, 1. God told a story about 2 sons, and one took all of his dad's money and spent it all on sweatshirts and useless stuff.
He left home and wasted all of his money. He became homeless. When he came back, his father threw him a big party. Meanwhile, the older brother came through the fields and he saw the party and he was super mad.
The father said to the older brother, I love you, but people matter more than possessions. Now come celebrate with us.
So no matter which way you enjoyed the story the most, I think there are some ways that we can really think about compassion in this story. So I asked some of my young friends that did the story with me, who do you think was right in the story? Who do you think was wrong in the story? Where do you think you saw compassion from the father? Do you think that the older brother should have shown some compassion? I don't think there are right and wrong answers to that question, but I do think it's important that we think about them. Why don't you talk about that with some friends that you're watching this with, okay? We'll see you in a minute.
I dare, I dare, I dare, I dare to care. Hey, I dare, I dare, I dare.
Hi friends, today we are talking about coming together at the table and welcoming our friends to kind of gather with us. So it is session number 1. And then, so the craft that we've got for that is going to be a centerpiece. And a centerpiece goes at the center of your table. And we typically would put it out, it's a decorative piece, we put it out when we were going to have friends over for a party or something along those lines. So I need you guys to go and find something in your house that you can use to decorate. Make sure you ask your parents if it's okay first, and that it's something that you can use that they don't want back. So I've got a couple examples here. So one is just an empty plastic bottle, one's like a, an old gardening container. Either one is perfectly acceptable. And then you were sent with a little baggie full of goodies for today's session. So you can go ahead and get all of that out of your bag and start using it to decorate your bottle. So take your glue stick, rip some pieces of the tissue paper off, and just go ahead and cover your entire bottle with the pieces of tissue paper. And then there's stickers that you can use as well.
Miss Kelsey, can I come in?
Absolutely, Miss Lynn.
Hi, Miss Kelsey.
Hi.
I heard that today you are making a centerpiece.
We are, yes.
Well, I know that you have lots of great things for your centerpiece, but I was outside and I found these beautiful flowers. And I thought maybe you would want those as part of your demonstration for what could go inside a centerpiece.
Absolutely, that would be perfect for my centerpiece. Why don't you go ahead and put them right in?
So again, kids, if you're gonna pick flowers, definitely make sure that it's okay with your parents first, okay? But then that would be another beautiful way to use your centerpiece.
Go ahead and pause the video now and you can complete the crafts. It was so nice of Miss Lynn to bring us some fresh flowers. Now, if you at home do not have any fresh flowers that you're able to go outside and pick, you can use some of your leftover tissue paper to make a flower yourself. So you're gonna just wanna fold the tissue paper in half this way. You can use a couple different colors if you want. And then you're gonna go back and forth and fold it pretty tightly until you get all the way to the end of your paper. Alright, and then you've got a nice little fan, it looks like, and you can use your pipe cleaner to just kind of attach it and hold it together. And then on the ends, you're just going to want to kind of pull them apart and kind of fluff it up a little bit. And then you have a nice little tissue paper flower.
I dare, I dare, I dare, I dare to care. Hey, I dare, I dare, I dare.
Let's say hi.
Hi.
Welcome to yoga. You want to say welcome to yoga? My name is Ellen, and I'm going to teach today. And this is Joseph's going to teach today too. See, he's got the teacher shirt on today. So Joseph has got some great ideas for yoga. Do you want to start? Do you want to show us your first one? Should I do it too? Okay, so you start. What do? Squeeze.
First, you squeeze all the muscles really tight. Then, you slowly soften. Exhale out and
So do you want to start standing or seated or laying down?
standing.
Standing. You're going to do mountain pose, Tadasana. As we inhale, we say to ourselves, I see. And as we exhale, we say, and welcome.
I see.
And exhale, welcome.
Can I go get a drink of water?
Sure.
I'll bring you a drink. You keep practicing, but I'll get you some water.
Wonderful. All right, now we'll move into child's pose.
Child's pose.
So come on to your
Well,
hands
that's
and
easy.
knees. You know child's pose?
Well, my mom told me it.
Yeah, so you can make your big toes touch each other and your arms reach out.
Is this how you do it?
It is, and you're just letting your forehead and your body rest on the earth.
What are you doing with this video that we made?
I'm going to read. We're going to put it on Sunday school. Child's pose is a position where we connect with God's creation, which is earth, and God's spirit within each of us as we bow our bodies and our hearts.
This is my mom's yoga.
It is. And then we come to tabletop, hands and knees.
Oh,
Can
my
you do this one?
Can you stay focused too so you can do all? Do you remember I showed you some ones Ellen sent me this morning that you can do in a row?
Good job. Okay, Joseph. Now we're going from child's pose to table pose.
Oh.
Hands and knees.
That was easy.
The table is a place of regrounding. Feel your steadiness.
Well,
There's
this is
room.
easy. I do this like all the time.
There's room for everyone at God's table.
Is this a pose?
That's child's pose too. I love that one. Can you downward facing dog? So then from table, seats to sky. Let your head fall between your arms.
This is plank.
Your seat goes high, sweetie.
This is plank.
Put your seat up really high. Oh, you are in plank, yeah. And gaze back to your feet. Downward facing dog. We let ourselves be stretched and prepared.
As much as I can make a triangle.
You are. To see what's to come. Now we do plank. Can you do plank?
Oh, yeah.
Step your legs out. Body long.
Is this plank?
It is. And now drop your knees and we'll come all the way down and do a little back bend. So can you lift your body up? Upward facing dog. We face the sun and welcome what the day holds for us.
And that's my house.
Yeah. Downward facing dog. One more. Downward facing dog. Now can you walk your feet up to your hands and roll all the way up to sky. Reach and gaze. Inhale. Touch the trees one more time. Inhale. Exhale, hands to heart. And then we'll do mountain pose, Tadasana. Yeah, can you show the camera?
Joseph, stand on your mat
Mountain
facing the camera so
pose.
they can see you doing.
And then have you ever said namaste?
No.
Namaste, we go like this, hands to heart. The light in me sees the light in you. I see you how God sees you. I see me how God sees me. And I see God in everyone. Namaste. Yay, good job. High five.
I dare to care. Hey, I dare.
Hi friends, it's good to see you today. Miss Jan here, and do you remember my friend Rivet? Hi everyone. Hi Miss Jan. Hi Rivet, it's good to see you again. It's been a little while. Yeah, it has been. Today we are going to do some work on the story that we had today, but God is good all the time. all the time, God is good. That's right. Today's story was from Luke 15, starting in verse 11, all the way to 32. It's talking about who has places at the table. Sometimes this story is called the prodigal son. But we're talking about today who has places at the table. So Rivet, what did you feel like when you heard this story?
Well, I was a bit confused why the older brother didn't get a party too. But when the dad explained why, I was relieved and understood.
Good.
Who shows compassion, Miss Jan? Who receives compassion?
Well, that's a really good question, Rivet. In this story, everybody gets a little bit of compassion, and everyone shows a little bit of compassion. Maybe not the older brother as much, but parents always want their children to come home. So the son coming home shows compassion to the father. The father certainly shows compassion to both of his sons by throwing a big party for his youngest son and asking his older son to please come sit at the table. You know, Rivet, sometimes we have a bad day and it's hard to sit at the table. What do you do to welcome people to the table when they've had a bad day?
Well, I just let them know that the place is there for them, for when they're not angry anymore, they can come sit with us.
That's a great way to show compassion. Letting people know that there's always places for them to be. That's a great idea. So friends, if you colored your icon for today at the table, go ahead and add it to your garland. And we're going to add the at the table icon, there we go, to our tree, our camping tree. There we go. And then, why don't we close in prayer, Rivet? What do you think?
Sure.
All right. Let's start. God, welcome. You help us to see your love and acceptance. Help us love and accept others in your name. Amen.
Amen.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow, friends. Bye-bye.
I dare to care. Hey, I dare.
Hi everyone. I hope that your first session of Compassion Camp was absolutely outstanding. Today, we learned that compassion means I see your hurt, I feel your hurt with you, and I help to ease your hurt. And we did this by recognizing that we can have people join us around a table or sort of a figurative table where we can see them and where we can use our empathy to understand how people are feeling inside. Now, on the back of your session 1 card, you're going to find some things that you can use your stampers to check off on your day. Let's do that together. Number 1, who told the Bible story today? Do you remember our Bible story? Stamp it off if you remember. Did you take the time to do some yoga with Miss Ellen? If you did, use your stamper there. What about our feelings match game? Remember? That's the one that looked like this. Did you take some time to play that matching with a friend? If you did, stamp it off. And then, do you remember the big bag of craft things that you got? Did you use that to make a vase? I hope so, and I hope you set it on your table at dinner tonight, and you can talk about your feelings with everybody that you are eating with. And then finally, you had your asking and imagining time with Miss Jan. Did you take some time to answer some of those questions with Miss Jan and her puppet friend? I hope so. Friends, let's take a look at our mural and let's see if we can find some people who are showing compassion to others, especially around a table. Remember how I told you that in your bag there is a great big mural for you to color? Well, I had my kids help me and we have already colored the whole thing. Let's take a look at it now and see if we can find some people gathering around a table. If we start our path all the way up here, we actually have to take the whole path all the way down, and it goes off the page and comes back on the page down here. And if we keep going, we find people at a park. And look, This was the guy on our session 1 card right there. And notice how he is clearly showing some compassion for somebody else that he knows, or maybe even a stranger that he doesn't know. And all these other folks have tables set up so that they can gather around the table and they can welcome one another. And I hope that that's what all of us can remember to do from our lesson today. There's a special prayer that was included in your session 1 bag, and I've already colored mine in. So do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start making a prayer wall. I'm going to use this wall behind me, and every single session will have a special prayer that we'll put on our prayer wall. Does that look like a good spot? I hope you think so. Now let's maybe put our hands right on our hearts, because we know that even though compassion starts in our head, we feel it in our hearts as well. Can you pray with me? Welcoming One, your warm, wide arms are always open, drawing us into your love. Make our arms your own, helping us see and welcome with compassion all those we meet. Amen. Thank you for joining me for session 1, everybody. I hope to see you for session 2. Bye-bye.